Okay, we have a quorum, Pat's not here, so it's just the three of us. So, call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of the January 8th minutes, the second version. The second version was the one, because I had forgotten to write down that one of our thoughts was to put that big poster or board or whatever we were thinking at the end of the, big red. So, that was the only difference between the two versions. So,
Make motion accept.
Second.
all approved? Okay. Brian. Transfer station and anything else from your end, what's going on?
Yep, so I guess we could first start with our 35-year-old forklift. Actually, it's 37-year-old forklift. It finally met its match.
Oh, no.
We have since replaced it with a newer model that has a heavier payload and can go across the gravel driveway without getting stuck.
Nice.
Yeah,
Is that shared
with Public Works? Yeah, we all use it, yeah. So it's not out of your. It was out of my budget.
Well, that
It was out of my reserves.
playing havoc with your budget then.
So, but they've. Yeah, it's paid for. Transfer station, we're plugging along. Our next meeting with DEP is May 27th or 28th. So last week of May is our next meeting with them. Entrance permit's been submitted,
The entrance, what?
permit. It's been submitted through the state. We should have an answer back in the next couple of days on that.
Should be plenty of visibility up and down.
There's more than enough
Yeah, so-
visibility
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Especially where it's going, it's even farther away from the curve than, yeah. That's about it. Still making cardboard like crazy.
Last time we talked, said something about June is when you thought the actual total application would be submitted. Because it's so big. And
I don't know, this is gonna be our first meeting with DEP to look over
Okay,
our submission.
but we haven't submitted yet, have we?
No.
Okay,
So is this the draft submission or is this more along the lines of a pre-draft to get ahead of issues?
Well, this is the pre-application meeting. For the last week of May, which is a required meeting.
okay,
Basically, they just sat down and go through everything, make sure we got everything right before we. Write them a check for the permit or the license.
and that's not a particularly hefty check for submitting that.
And it's like 1,800 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't have the exact amount, but it's,
but it's something that we'd already,
yeah, we've already,
It's already
it's
done.
already set aside.
And then if we're not submitting, you thought possible estimate timeframe was June that you were gonna submit the whole big thing. You're not really gonna know that until you hear back from them, is that?
Yeah, we won't know anything until the last week of May, and honestly, I suspect they'll find something that. We'll have to, I mean, you deal with permits all the time. What's your experience with DEP?
Sometimes. Piece of cake, but we also do it a lot.
You do it all the time, right? Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. We have an example to go by,
Is that final Haven?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, we're still. Fingers crossed, end of the year that we should be through the process.
I hope that's what we're shooting for.
Okay,
Yeah, that's,
because if the submission's a little delayed, but still, it should be a better submission for going through the process you are.
Right, yeah.
Okay. Any, any other updates?
No.
Self-sustaining tag. I don't know.
Oh, we're missing one.
I read it all over.
Oh, okay. The calculation, last time we did the calculation for the January meeting, it looked like it was coming out that it would be rounded up to 325 based on the figures, which were based on last year's tonnage, or the year before tonnage, the tonnage that we had, and then added to that tonnage because the tickets increased by 10%. And so it just a straight ratio, figured 10% ticket increase, 10% tonnage increase. The actual number that came out, even though tickets have increased 10%, tonnage has decreased by 14.5%. And I know I probably annoyed Brian because I said, that looks wonky. Can you go back and look at it again? Sorry, former analyst here.
She used that word.
I did. And it's coming back. So what that says to me is tonnage is more volatile than we might have reasonably assumed. But if that's what the tonnage is, and this is the formula that we've taken, it's now coming out, the math makes it come out to 307. And since we're recommending always rounding to 25 cents just because of the administrative fees, that's rounded down to $3. So all we need from this group is, are we comfortable with the way this came out? And then we just submit it to the select board.
So this is effectively no change. from
And
last
that-
year, right?
that's-
So,
yeah.
I think.
I did on the thing say, I put what the next steps are just on the form, but if they're not changing it, the next steps are, it has to be public hearing and amended to the rules, not to the ordinance.
Yeah.
But we're not advocating any change at this point. We don't have the actual increase for main waste to energy yet, but they're they've got a corridor of an increase from 2% to 4% based on CPI right now. CPI, just general CPI, not even the drilled down ones. General CPI is at 2.8%, so I just use 3. I don't know if they're gonna do any of the sub CPIs, urban, rural, because they're all different
Either way,
CPIs.
that's gonna still come rounded out to
It's gonna-
3 one way or the other.
Yeah, I think rounded out, it's still gonna come under 312, which would be rounded down to $3. So I think we're pretty close on there.
Yeah, I got actually got an update from them
Oh, did?
last week.
Oh, okay.
They will not figure ours. What they do is they take the last 6 months
Mhm.
and then they average and
Okay.
then take that percentage. So they just done another town last week and their increase was 2.95 or something like that. Anyways, he feels strong that ours will be right in that area
Okay, so
also.
3% sounds like a great place for us to do for the purposes of self-sustaining tag calculations. So then all we need is, if everybody's set on this, is a motion to approve that it go to the select
Keep
board.
it at $3.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep.
I'll second that
Says.
motion.
And if trade wars drive the consumer price index up and it throws everything off. And we can go back to.
Yeah, it can be
Realize
changed
that,
with the way it's set up in the new ordinance and rules, it can be changed at any time.
Right,
That said, main waste to energy is contractually obliged to no more than 4%. So even that wouldn't really impact us. Because they've got a cap on it. Now that our next contract with them, they may look at the
Yeah.
current economy and say, we're not gonna put a cap on, that's their choice, but right now they're
At the
capped
same
at 4.
tonnage went down 14%, which I agree sounds wonky. It might have been a fluke, and then they go back up again.
Yeah, it could, this is a forecast,
There's a lot of unknowns here.
yeah.
It's not like I've read that contract either, and who knows if there's some force majeure clauses in there that says, hey, the tariffs don't.
But as chair is force majeure.
That's
That's usually an act of God, and this is
So,
not an
who
act of God.
knows? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all speculation, so I think at this point, with the number you have,
That was
That the
being
information
justified
we
as a
know.
national emergency, so that may be. is
Let's not even go
No.
anywhere near, I think,
Yep.
for now, we're good.
Yep.
We're not disagreeing.
No.
So I think for now, we're good, we've got a motion, we've got a second, all in favor of presenting this to the select board?
Aye.
Okay, that's 3-0. And can you get us on their agenda and tell Nicole if it takes 5 minutes, that's a lot? Cause I mean, it's basically a pass.
So it's gonna, hey, there's our bid.
There's Martha.
Hi, Martha.
Yeah, I will talk to her.
Okay.
They've got pretty much all their meetings laid out up till the town meeting and what their agendas are and that. Obviously it needs to go because it's
Well, it's a no change, so it's a.
right.
It's a
So actually,
little less.
it doesn't have to be on the warrant anymore,
No,
right?
it never has to be on
Yeah,
the warrant
so-
anymore.
Just has to be,
We're, all we wanna do is to go to them and say, look, we do this at least once a year,
Right.
we've done it, this is where it is. If circumstances change vastly based on the new ordinance, this could be changed for
Right.
January 1 if we find out more information. You have that flexibility.
Okay, so I'll let Nicole know, and with their agendas being tight right now. Getting everything set for the warrant. Maybe they'll wanna do that after they get all that stuff done, but I'll let her know.
Yeah, we do say here 7/1 effective date, but since it's no change, it's effective date of no change, which I guess is not an effective date sensitive issue. But do also let her know 5 minutes tops.
Okay.
and it wouldn't even need any public hearing,
No,
because
there's
it's
no
not a
change.
change.
There's no change. I like keeping this language here. I think if we use this format and stuff, just because. Let's say we have to do it in January, it's right there, the select board, this is how you have to look at it. Just as informative, as long as that's okay. Next thing on the agenda are possible communication articles. I drove the last one. And maybe we should move this around. Maybe let's talk committee membership before we talk that. And it's you guys here. So I know we talked about it last time and you said, think about it and give us an answer now. We would really like it if you stayed on because there's not a lot of work anymore. And we don't have to bring people up to speed, and bottom line, you can terminate anytime. It's not that, I mean, even though you're in for a 3-year term, if something comes up, I mean, you can resign at any time. So it's not really I mean, it's a commitment, but it's not firm set in. So I would ask your thoughts. Are you willing to re-up? And if so,
Yep, I'm fine with that. The only reason I mentioned first is you were looking at me, but I know Paul was getting ready to talk to him.
no, totally, guys. It's,
And I'm,
me.
and I'm gonna step down.
You are, okay.
It's
I'll-
been interesting.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
Well, we did all the hard work, but that, I mean, certainly whatever. I'll send an email to Nicole. I'll copy you guys in and obviously you, and just say this is, you're willing to re-up and you,
Give somebody else a chance.
I guess Brian, you want to let us know officially that.
But if there's anything that happens between now and June 30th, I'll still come in until then.
Right. I know Paul, excuse me, Brian was telling me earlier that a notice has already gone up on the website looking for new members for all kinds of committees, and solid waste was listed. So hopefully we'll get some. I think we could operate with 3 technically, because we'd always have a third for quorum kind of thing. I mean, it'd be nice to get somebody else, but,
Next up, page 4, yeah.
um,
'Cause
I'll shoot
if
it.
something like that happens otherwise, so.
yeah, I will shoot a note to Nicole and just outline that, and then I don't know, I'm gonna ask her if you need to resubmit anything, because I know we have to apply for it. I don't know if you have to put paperwork in there.
Let me know, I'll do what I need to do.
All right, I'll shoot the note to Nicole.
Brando.
Pardon?
No, I mean, for that seat, or for this seat.
She'd be here every time.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure she wanted to talk about trash. Next meeting, and I'm leaving communications to last. Next meeting is still a TBD. We talked about doing it once a quarter. I can tell you guys, I'm not gonna be here next quarter. Bill wants to take off in the RV and drive to Alaska.
That sounds awesome.
So, and I'm not sure we don't have anything pending. I do have one idea of something that you guys might be able to do before June 30th. Just to, do something and continue the communication, but, with that said, I would actually propose next set meeting, the end of September. I know you talked about June. You guys can meet without me. I mean, that's
Well.
fine.
No,
I had only, oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we don't know that yet, because right now we'd be down to 3,
Yeah,
and without you, we'd be 2
Two.
tops, so.
Which would be, well,
it still would be a quorum. Because you have to have quorum is the majority.
I thought there was
I'll have to look up the.
I had looked at the bylaws.
Yeah, I'll have to
Okay.
look up.
There might be a minimum requirement of people present,
Yeah.
so.
Anyway, I'm suggesting our next touch base meeting be the September, what is it, the second Wednesday? Or the 4th Wednesday in September, what are we, the 2nd and 4th? I
I
don't
think
know.
that generally works, I mean, we don't have any real action items, so we have to.
No,
do right
there's
now, but-
communication
yeah.
stuff,
That'd be the
there,
10th,
there may be, what's the one after that, the,
17th, that's the,
no, 17th, it would be the 24th.
oh, the 24th, yeah, the 2nd and 4th. It's the 10th, the 24th. Yeah, we can't do the 3rd Wednesday, so, yeah.
Does that,
might
I'm
work.
just, asking you, I'm not gonna ask you. You're more than welcome to join my family, but a lot of it's when you want. But does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Brian, can you see any fault in us not formally meet? If anything comes up, I can try to jump on Zoom, depends on where we are, and we can do something ad hoc if we're needed. I just don't see that you'd be needed.
So we're looking at the 10th or the 24th?
24th,
At that point, Brian may have a really, really good update on,
yeah, the transfer
Yeah.
station.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you should have gone through at least kind of one semi-round.
are we looking at 6 or 6:30?
6:30.
That's fine.
Done.
All right, jumping back to communications. We did the one. We also did the annual report, which hit me by surprise, but that's okay. And I appreciate everybody's input on it. It was great. If anyone, there are some other ideas. If anyone wants to drive one of these, that's fine. One of the things I was thinking though, that might, that's on the list. I'm gone, that might be easy for you guys to do would be large poster for the end of Big Red with recycling do's and don'ts. And last couple of meetings ago, we talked about that. And the thought was maybe a big piece of like plywood or something that we could find that you can paint neatly on some of the things that need to happen. I know between Brian, Cassie and Jacinta. And then actually that last article we wrote, you know, peanut butter jars, some of the do's and don'ts and other material we have out there, it should be pretty easy to find. You know, agree what to put on or not. Another idea was banana banners, of course, there's money with that. You could tackle the money by talking to banana banners and then seeing if you can do any public fundraising. That's another option. My only thought with banana banners, although I like it, I think the end product would be nicer. Recycling changes. And that would probably mean scrapping a whole banana banners thing. Whereas if we were to do a plywood thing, paint over it, paint again. So those are just my thoughts. What do you guys think? Before June 30th, or you can always volunteer after June 30th to help as a volunteer, not a committee member. Just laying it out.
I love it.
Ad hoc committee member.
And it could be, I mean, we could get the public to help with it too, if we, you know, whatever you guys think. I mean, that's my idea for something that. An initiative that we could do between now and September. It's not a lot, but it's something we talked about that might be
Do we
helpful.
know anybody with a large format printer?
I don't.
Dave had one.
Yeah, I get access.
You don't want to?
Cause then you could just make like a PDF. And blow it up to whatever paper size the printer will take.
It's gotta be outdoor proof.
Yeah, that'd be
Laminated.
laminated after that, yeah.
I mean, I can always. We've taken stuff to Staples before and had them printed out too. I mean, it's.
Yeah. But you have to make it outdoor proof,
Yeah,
so
as
that's,
long as Nicole comes up with funding.
yeah, limited.
No, it's not a bad idea, we can try to squeeze in there, maybe we can come up with something there.
I
I
mean, you
think no
guys,
matter what, there's gonna be something that's gonna be quasi disposable.
Right.
Because that sun alone is gonna destroy that ink after a while, so, especially if it's just printed as opposed to professionally done. The other one that does seem kind of timely based off of, the social media is the glass. Our little discussion might be,
what is that, is that hopping again on Facebook?
yeah, it hopped up again,
Yeah.
matter of fact, it was yesterday or 2 days ago, so.
I have not been watching
Um,
that.
Another idea, because I really did like your ideas you had there, the last one, like you said, was pretty darn timely. Matter of fact, I think you sent that before the social media discussion happened.
Oh, this has been on the agenda for years.
Yeah, so
It's January, yeah.
so I think you're trendsetter on that. The other thing is we could do something about the state of the landfills, statewide recycling is important. I know I showed you that report once upon a time, which is,
You know,
it's a pretty dire picture,
I
frankly.
have not touched base with Eco Man, and I bet they've got stuff on there. I mean, I know we can find stuff on the landfills.
The state puts out a report every year and it's
It's
pretty
been,
clearly outlined.
I know, I think last time we presented to the select board, we talked about, there was something about the landfills
Yes,
that we put
they'd be
in.
filled by 2028 without expansion.
Yeah, but we put that in the November 26th presentation to them, assuming it's an expansion of JRL, which is the Juniper landfill.
They just approved that extension.
Did they?
Yeah, but,
So the main has between 15 and 20 years.
but that's
capacity.
only. I mean, that's.
It buys time, it's gonna take 3 years to build.
Exactly, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a huge parcel of land, but. Time wise, it's only like an additional 5 years or something, it's just.
So I think either
And,
one, either the glass or the landfill would be good because A, the recent glass discussion,
okay.
B. I doubt the landfill issue most people know about. So I think. Both would be decent articles.
I'm thinking about, and I agree with you on that. I'm wondering about the timing on stuff. You know, maybe the glass fill, maybe we can sneak that in. You know, and I can help. I don't know, if one of you guys wants to drive it, if you want me to drive it again,
I
whatever.
guess the first question is, when is the next?
I have that somewhere. I know. I don't
um,
bet.
letter.
I sent it to, I think I sent it to you guys.
So we have a month and a half for the next newsletters too, right? It's the end of May,
Yeah, the end of May.
so yeah,
It-
6 weeks, so we can pull that off, we can pull one of those off.
no, let's see, deadline for articles is as follows, to be printed. In the July submission, yeah, June 1st, so end of May.
Okay, yeah, we can squeeze something out next week, please.
All right, so
I'll take a point on that.
do you want to do the glass one?
This is weird, because
I
I
just
just,
want it, but it'll be one of the two.
I just printed out an article that was actually written
Well, we can plagiarize.
2 years ago.
Let's plagiarize.
2 years ago, so Massachusetts. Banned glass going to landfills.
Do you have that electronically? You can send us the link.
Now that you can have this, I know where to find it. Yeah, so, and it talks about, so now. Glass is being taken at the sorting facilities down there, but it's being. Broken down, it's not being crushed or anything like that, it's just being broken down and it's being given to whoever wants it.
Do people really want it?
Apparently, some construction companies are using it. However, in Maine, you cannot use it. For road beds and stuff like that,
Huh, okay.
for public ways anyways. I don't know about, I guess you could use it on a private road or something, but.
Yeah, okay.
And then I
Does
started
it
digging a
say on
little
the bottom
deeper.
or with the title of that? Here.
Maybe they use that for aggregate, that concrete, the foundation.
So I dug a little deeper and because, Casella. Takes glass. But it's not being recycled, okay, so they're taking it to the landfill, they're using it for caps, they're using it for road beds around the facilities and that. Which we know to be true,
Yep,
but they're not publicly stating this. Okay, they're just saying they're taking it and recycling
They're
it,
reusing it.
they're reusing it, correct?
but that's Massachusetts, and can we really?
Yeah, well, if you read the article, it really talks about all of New England. So I Googled a few things and. What was happening was Casella was taking all this glass from New Hampshire and Vermont, and they were piling it up in Vermont. And they were using it without DEP's authorization, capping landfills in Vermont.
I found it. So I'll put a link in the minutes for it. Thank you.
Yeah, so it just keeps going and going and going and. I know what the drivers are telling me, and I know what corporate is telling me, and they don't exactly jive.
Okay, so Paul, you want to take point on?
One of the two.
All right, just one of.
Yep.
I don't think it really matters which one. And then I'm gonna suggest if we do that one and then we get people together to do the sign for the end, that's probably enough. Between now and September meeting. And then because we'll still do a landfill article after the September meeting, or I mean, we don't have to come out with them all at once.
No, and people wouldn't read them if we did them.
Yeah.
all at once anyway, so.
Right.
I
Keep it
think-
short.
Yeah,
So one of the two, just let us know which one. I'll put the link to that article that he's got in the minutes, so that
sure. Would be great.
you've got that.
She left. And we're not being recorded anymore, are we?
We're, oh, she's back.
And then. I hate to ask this, but do you wanna take a point, or maybe you and Pat working together, take a point on what we do for sign?
Talk, see if we can come up with something.
Okay,
Um,
just, you know. I mean, you ask for town volunteers if you want. I mean, they don't have to be on a committee to help paint a sign. I mean, I think it makes sense for, the committee in conjunction with the team to figure out what the sign needs to say, but as far as producing it, unless you can find a way that's easier to produce without, I mean, whatever you think.
right now, my initial thought is actually not quote unquote a a sign. More along the lines of a series of pictures with X's through them of what not to do and what
Hmm.
good and bad of the common items, because pictures grab people's attention more than words, so that's my initial thought, like, you know,
If you can find the graphic.
no,
somewhere.
let's just say a plastic bag of film plastics are still an issue. Grab a picture of a plastic bag, put next to it and say, not that, something along those lines is kind of where my initial.
I would lean more towards picture than with a kind of an explanation, because like the shrink wrap. Containers where you gotta score and take the shrink wrap off. I don't know how you show that in a picture.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna have to do the heavy hitters first, the. The problem childs, so to speak, you know, and if we tackle the 80% with that sign. I'd call that
Yeah.
a win, and we'll have to just identify what
Yeah.
that 80% is.
The last,
Just as you guys know exactly what that is.
the last article, if you will, the one that I helped drive has got a lot of that. We also have, don't forget, we've got the, what is it, 3-pager. Do's and don'ts, and that does have
Yeah.
the no signal on, that should be on Birmingham.com somewhere. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That I can laminate, that should be there. And that could be a good source, it's too small to be whatever. All right, so one article and one sign, and Paul, you're gonna drive that. I'm available for any help that you might want between now and
Okay.
towards the end of May.
Let's see what we can come up with.
But as long as we're just working one-on-one, you with Pat or you with me, whatever, we don't have a quorum, so we should be all set. Terrific. And I don't have anything else.
I think it doesn't have to be. Right away, it could be in the fall or whatever, but at some point, I think it'd be great to have a little, another poster that shows how much has been taken in for cardboard and metal,
Yeah,
and kind of a year by year. People see it's going up and down, and give them a little, oh. I didn't realize.
we've mentioned it a couple of times, but that's not a bad idea, yeah.
Last year, you took in, $100, and this year,
You can even at the bottom of whatever sign you're saying, you know, that's going up. Don't forget, we love corrugated cardboard or whatever, you know,
I think
corrugated
it's,
cardboard makes us money.
Not right now.
Oh, it's not?
Mhm.
Oh,
I have to make $53 a ton to break even.
what are we getting now?
It's right now, it's at $40.
Oh, well then, let's not mention it.
I mean, I'm not shipping. I'm storing.
yeah,
But, and this is normal, every winter it happens,
Okay,
because the market gets flooded from, you know, Christmas presents and stuff like that. And
I think out of the way, it's still good recycling.
oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you look at the big picture, it actually saves us money because it's not going into the compactor and taking up space.
right.
yeah. Trash.
You know, we're not paying to get rid of it.
Yeah, and even if you would be, it'd be. $13 a ton versus 170 or whatever that
Right.
happens to be, so.
Yeah. Actually, I should be getting. I should be getting the latest commodity prices. I would think this week. So
Does
maybe,
history tell you that might go up over $40 a little? Maybe,
yeah, May time frame is typically when it starts creeping up again. But, you know, the markets are crazy right now, so who knows?
okay.
Well, we won't be importing that Canadian cardboard.
That's all.
He did away with all the tariffs except China this afternoon. Markets rebounded. They didn't make up everything that lost over the last, but
That's where all of our cardboard goes, is Canada.
it's one of our biggest, it was a very big gain now that the tariffs are off the table in China. Anyway, anything else or we have someone that needs to go home and have more cookies? I think we should vote that you get more cookies. huh?
Past bedtime, so.
All in favor?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
two
she's
sto-
voting
two
for it
story.
too, all right.
I'm down to 6 boxes, you know.
Motion to adjourn,
Second.
all approved,
All
all right. Well, Paul
It's been a pleasure.
Tabor, it has been a pleasure, thank you so much for joining us. It was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. So, thank you for being.
Good night, Martha.
She said Zoom